Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Curtis, and today I'm going to do a review for Beauty in Black Season 2, Episode 4. Alright, y'all, so this episode was a filler, but you know what? That is okay because the first three episodes, they were so explosive, there was so much going on that I was actually happy to have an episode that wasn't as involved. So you know what? It's okay. Alright, so the episode begins with the man attempting to get into the club without paying. Andy, who was the person that was, supposed to drive Mallory that day, but she said no. He is the one that's actually collecting the money. So he actually starts to press the guy. And the man is like, look, I'm not about to pay to get into my mom's club. And Andy's like, listen, I do not care about your mom or the fact that this is her club. If you want to get in, you need to pay $30. And it looks like it's getting ready to be an altercation, but Officer Traxon actually comes in and he's able to get in between them. Traxon is just like, why are you here? Like, what do you want? And he's like, I'm not sure if anybody told you, but then Linda died. And he's like, yeah, I heard about it, but, what do you want? Like, why are you here? And he's like, well, she had a will, so what I want to do is go into the office because I just want to take a look at the books to make sure everything is straight. And he's like, you know what? You have to come back in the morning. Like, this is not the time. And he's like, I actually try to come in the morning. He's like, listen, this is not the time. You can't do this right now. And so it appears as if it's getting ready to be an altercation again because he's getting frustrated and upset. But Traxon and another security guard are able to escort him out. But he does say, you know what? That's okay. I'm going to come back up here tomorrow with my lawyer. Andy is so over this. He's like, I'm about to just walk around the club. So he does walk around the club and he ends up running to a male stripper named Dustin. And Dustin's like, look who's over there. And he's like, who is that? He's like, that's Charles. He was like, he's the one that was in the Lambo. He's like, oh, that's him? He was like, yeah, he actually has a lot of money. He's rich. And Andy's like, okay, I mean, you telling me this information for what? And he's like, you know what? I feel like we can possibly, do something with them. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I can go over there. I could maybe, flirt with him a little bit. And maybe he could take me over to his house and then we can rob him. And Andy's like, that's not what I do. That's not something that I'm a part of. Like, I don't get down like that. And he's like, listen, I feel like he has a lot of money. He probably has a safe at his house. We can definitely get some money out of this. And Andy's like, listen, you do what you need to do, and then you come back to me if you have like some good information, and then I will think about it. Rain and Alex finally arrive at the club. Alex gets out of the car. He opens the door. He's like, hey, do you want to get out? She's like, you know what, just give me a minute. So he closes the door and she calls Kimmy. Kimmy answers the phone and she can tell that something's wrong. So she's like, what's going on? Rain tells her that Angel was Pow Pow and the person who actually was responsible for him getting Pow Pow was Horus. And Kimmy's like, oh no, we gotta go. We gotta get out of here. If he would do that to Angel, he's definitely gonna do it to us. Rain is trying to calm her down, but Kimmy, she's not trying to hear. She's like, I'm about to go wake my sister up and we are about to get out of here. And Rain, she's still trying to say, you know what, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's not that serious. Maybe we're looking at it wrong. She's like, listen to me. He loved Angel. If he was willing to do that to Angel, what do you think he's going to do to us? Like, he cares about me a little bit, but he don't care about y'all. What do you think he's going to do to you? And she's still trying to, talk through it and say, like, you know what, maybe it's not that deep. But Kimmy's like, no, we need to get out of here. Rain calls Alex back over to the car. It's like, look, I know that we were supposed to go to the club, but we need to go back to the house. So we need to go back to the house right now. At the hospital, Horace is talking to a doctor, and the doctor says, look, I'm going to be completely honest with you. When it comes to your cancer, it has spread faster than we thought, and unfortunately, there isn't anything that we can do to stop it, nor is there anything we can do to slow it down. And so, unfortunately, you're probably going to pass away in a couple of weeks. Horace grabs his phone and he pulls out the information for the Cancer Treatment Center in Thailand. So it does appear that he did give Kimmy the green light to give Sylvia, the phone number so she can send that information over. And he hands the phone over to the doctor, and the doctor just starts smiling. And he's like, what are you smiling for? She was like, I actually told you about this center, when we found out that there was nothing that we could really do for you. But you said that you were not interested. And he was like, that sounds like something I would say. He tells her, you know what, I wasn't interested in it before, but I am now. Before I wasn't really sure how long I had to live. I felt like I had a little bit longer. But now that I know that I only have a couple of weeks, I feel like I need to try to do something because I don't want to die. She tells him, you know what, we can possibly get you over there, but, it could be a little bit dangerous. There are a few people that have success, but to get you out of bed right now in your state, get you on a plane and get you over there, it's kind of risky. But he's like, you know what, at this point, I'm willing to take that risk. And she's like, you know what, I'm going to see what I can do. Back with Rand and Alex, Rand inquires about the cars. She wants to know if she and Kimmy are able to drive their own cars or if they always have to have a driver. Alex tells her that the house is on a private road and is protected by a gate that's monitored 24/7. So if the two of them were to get into a car and they were to attempt to leave, they will be followed. Back at the house, Kimmy wakes Sylvia up and she's like, look, we need to go, we need to leave. She's like, what were you talking about? She's like, listen, we just need to go. Like, I know you got a lot of questions, but I don't have the answers for you right now. We just need to leave. And she's like, no, I'm not going anywhere until you tell me what's going on. So she's like, you know what? You want to know the truth? I'll tell you the truth. So she says, you know what? Look, me, Rain, and Angel, we got caught selling drugs at the airport. The officer who arrested us told us we can either go to jail or we could work at the club, so we decided to work at the club. She goes on to say that Horus doesn't even like women. He likes men. Why do you think that he had Angel around so much? And Sylvia's like, wait a minute, so you mean to tell me that you two are not in love? And I said, yo, I swear to God, I almost took my laptop and threw it across the room. Like, I understand that she's supposed to be like this super innocent, like she has no idea what's going on, like she's just being blindsided by everything. But I'm just like, oh my God, she really gets on my nerves. Kimmy is like, love? This isn't about love. This is about business. And Sylvia's like, you know what? This is crazy. She's like, no. What's crazy is that Angel was killed, and the person that had him killed was Horus. And now Sylvia's like, oh, wow, he's a dangerous man. She's like, yes, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Now what you need to do is pack your bags, because as soon as Rain gets here, we are leaving. Jules arrives at Harold's house, and of course it's engulfed in flames because Norman blew the shit up. And he gets a call from Traxxon just tells him that Melinda's son, who we found out is named Giovanni, came to the club, and he was trying to get into the office. And he goes on to say that Giovanni told him that he's going to come back with a lawyer. Jules ends a call with him, and he ends up calling Norman to confront him about the mess that he made. And he says, you know what, look, I had to do what I needed to do. Like, he knew too much information. I felt like his wife knew too much information. I didn't need anything coming back to me, so I had to do what I needed to do. Jules decides to pivot. He's like, look, Dorinda's son Giovanni came to the club, and it appears that he wants to sell the club. And Norman's like, look, you are quite persuasive. You are quite convincing. Just talk to him and see what you can do to prevent him from selling the club. And then Norman hangs up. We go back to the hospital room. Horus wakes up and he sees Angel. And he's like, wait a minute, like, am I asleep? Like, am I dreaming? Am I dead? Like, what exactly is going on? He's like, you're not dreaming. You're not dead. Like, I'm actually here. Like, talk to me. Like, what's going on? And so Horus, he's sitting up and he's getting himself together, but he ends up slipping up and saying that he was the one who gave the green light to have Angel killed. And Angel's like, wait, what? What did you say? Excuse me? And so initially he tries to make up excuses like, no, you're hearing things. That's not what I said. The Angel's like, no, you stated that you tried to get me killed. Like, what are you talking about? Horus continues to try to get out of it, but he quickly realizes that he can't. So he's like, you know what? Look, I accidentally gave the green light for you to be killed. And Angel's like, wait, what? What did you say? What happened? He said, did I fucking stutter? You heard what the fuck I said? I accidentally gave the green light for you to be killed. Damn. Angel's like, you know what? I can't take this. So it looks like he's getting ready to walk out of the room. But Horus is like, wait, let me just explain what happened. He tells him that he needed to give someone up in exchange for Kimmy's safety. He did not know that Angel was the one that got arrested for the card. Angel tells him, like, I need to leave. Like, my child's in danger. My child's mother's in danger. I need to go. And he's like, they're not in danger. They're not going to touch you because they believe that you got killed. And he's like, no, Jules said that he was going to hurt them. He said, what? He said, yes, Jules said that he was going to hurt them. So he's like, listen, what you need to do is you need to stay in my hospital room. I'm going to make a few phone calls. I'm going to get everything straightened out. Don't worry about it. We go back to the club and Dustin walks over to Charles. And Charles is confused because he's like, you know what? You never gave me the time of day, but now all of a sudden you're all up on me, like, what's going on? And he's like, you know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you. I actually came over to rob you. But now I'm like, you know what? Instead of robbing you, maybe we can be friends. And Charles is like, boy, please. And so Dustin, he takes some drugs out of his drawers and places it on the bar, which was nasty as hell. Charles is like, so you mean to tell me that you plan to rob me and now you're trying to give me some drugs to use? Like, what sense does that make? And Dustin's like, listen, it's not even like that. And Charles is like, you know what? I'll do the drugs if you do it first. How about that? And Dustin is kind of like, oh shit, I didn't expect him to say that. And he's like, you know what? Fine. Meet me in the bathroom. We can do it. And Charles is like, you know what? I'll meet you there. The episode ends with Kimmy, Sylvia, and Rain attempting to flee. They actually run into one of the drivers. So the driver's like, you know, where are you going? Kimmy's like, oh, we're going to take a little girl trip. And he's like, you know what? I actually need to drive. And she's like, look, I don't need to drive. I'm going to drive myself. And he's like, ma'am, I can't let you do that. She's like, listen, I will drive through the gate if I had to. And he's like, I don't think you should do that. She's like, listen, I'm getting ready to leave and there's nothing you can do to stop me. So they all get into the car and they're just racing down, right? And then next thing you know, we see what appears to be a truck just in the middle of the road. And so Kimmy, she tries to avoid it, but she ends up going into the grass. And then as she goes into the grass, the car actually gets stuck, right? And so she's trying to reverse, but we notice that there's somebody walking up. And Sylvia's like, oh my God, they're going to kill us. And so Kimmy looks out of the window. She's like, wait, I know that's not who I think it is. And guess who it was, y'all? It was Horus. All right, thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. As I said a little bit earlier, this was definitely a filler episode. There was like a large filler, like a large scene that took place over the course of the episode that I didn't even mention because it had no relevance. It did not add anything to the story. But that's okay because, as I said a little bit earlier, the first 3 episodes had so much going on that one of the episodes had to be a filler. Like, I mean, that's just kind of how it goes. But if you all could please like, comment, share, subscribe, that would be great. Hope you have a great rest of your day.